Alright, so I thought we could enjoy something a little humorous here today. So apparently, the Pokemon Company apologizes for having a Pokemon in the Twilight Wings anime that's actually not in the games. Oh no! A Pokemon in the anime that's not in the games. Oh man, it's not like this has ever been done before, am I right? Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So, apparently, the Pokemon Company, they had to apologize because fans got upset because a Pokemon was in the Twilight Wings special for Nessa that was not in the Sword and Shield games. I'm not even remotely joking. That's a sad thing. I'm actually serious. So Pokemon Company apologizes for the latest episode of Pokemon Twilight Wings featuring Pokemon not found in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And the Pokemon was literally a dugong. No, I'm actually serious. The Pokemon was a dugong, and people are upset because dugong was in the Twilight Wings special, but it was not in the Pokemon Sword and Shield games. I mean, it might be because, they're adding more to the DLC and stuff, but yeah, people are upset over this. I'm not even kidding. It's it's ridiculous. Pokemon Company released the 4th episode of Pokemon Twilight Wings recently, and it courted a bit of controversy. The episode featured some Pokemon that don't appear in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and this rounded up a few fans. Pokemon Company has since taken to Twitter to apologize for the situation, saying they're sorry if anyone felt misled by the animation. Hopefully, most who watched the episode were already aware of what Pokemon did or didn't make the cut in Sword and Shield. I'm not kidding. Dugong fans be mad. I'm not kidding. It was over one Pokemon, and it was a dugong. And people were riled up over an animation because, the anime and the game canon are two totally different canon. I'm just saying. So people were saying, this is such an absurd complaint and a little silly for Pokemon Company to even acknowledge it. Which, I agree. I agree with that. The Twilight Wings shorts are actually well produced and animated, and it's probably better if they're storyboarded without the artist cross-referencing the current available Pokemon in Sword and Shield at every turn, or what Pokemon has upcoming merchandising or Go promotions, or what have you. A dugong is on screen for like 2 seconds. Is Nessa even in the Galar region at the time? Models have to travel all over for their work. Anyway, nothing about it is remotely misleading. This seems more like just an attempt to dredge up Dexit outrage again. And here's the thing. Now, when it comes to the games, yeah, I, as much as any other fan, was displeased about how they didn't bring every Pokemon into Sword and Shield. I mean, we only got 400 Pokemon, and I think there was like 80 something, around 82 to 84, something like that, new Pokemon, if I recall. Thing is, when it comes to the anime, you can put whatever you want in it, and it's supposed to be for fun, right? I mean, like, it's kind of funny that they're complaining over the Twilight Wings episode, but then when you're watching the actual, like, Pokemon anime that's out in Japan right now, that, is actually going to be on Netflix soon, Ash has a Dragonite. Dragonite is not even in the games. And nobody's upset about that. It's kind of funny how that works, isn't it? You would think that, people are complaining about a dugong. Well, why not about Ash having a Dragonite whenever people can't have Dragonite in Sword and Shield yet? If it's even going to come in the games, right? I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's supposed to be for fun is what the animation is, and then they get upset over, a dugong not being in the game. So people responded on Twitter by saying, LMAO, what are Pokemon fans really this pathetic now? If this is false advertising, then I hope they also got mad about the original Pokemon anime having a Gyarados as a river outside of Pallet Town or a Dragonite the size of a kaiju. And if you want to get into specifics of Pokemon featured that aren't available in the region, Ash sees a Ho-Oh in the first episode, and they also get a Togepi, and last I checked, neither of them were available in Red and Blue. People are telling me that's different. From what I can tell, the only reason it's different is because Sword and Shield is bad. Also, nowhere on the Twilight Wings videos do they advertise or mention Sword and Shield, the game specifically. They're just set in the region. Now, here's the funny thing, is that when it comes down to it, this person has a good point. The anime has spiced up the games. They've kind of had Pokemon featured in the anime so that people would want to buy the games. That was a big point as to why they did that. And, it's kind of funny. The Ho-Oh one was still very random. Now, Togepi was obviously for the idea of what was going to be to come, which then the Pokemon movie, the very first one with Mewtwo, with the Pikachu's Vacation Special, also showed off a couple Pokemon, that were brand new. And people are upset over this. I'm not even kidding. I find this funny how people think this is false advertising when the Pokemon Company has done this on episode 1 of the anime when they showed off Ho-Oh. This is literally the best way of show Pokemon off for current and next gen. There was no reason for them to apologize for this. And there wasn't. There was literally no reason for them to apologize. See, here's the big thing, is that when you look at it, let's look at the games. Yeah, everybody would have wanted all the Pokemon back, and that's why people were upset, and I get it. I'm upset about it myself that all the Pokemon are in the games, and that Mega Evolution was taken out. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I think that if you're going to get a product out there, it needs to be fully completed. But when it comes to the anime, they've done this multiple times with the anime. And this was obviously to advertise for the next generation of Pokemon. That's the whole point as to why they did it in the anime. And this little thing with a dugong, I just think it's funny that they complain over this, but they don't complain about Ash having a Dragonite. I'm just saying, he has a Pokemon that's not in the games. Or Go having like a Scyther, or, a Sandile, some other Pokemon that are not within the games. I'm just saying, they particularly pick Dugong, oddly enough, which I get it. There are people that are a fan of every single Pokemon. Every single Pokemon is someone's favorite. I get it. But I think this argument is just really dumb because, if that's the case, then, with the Karina episode coming up in Pokemon, you would imagine that they would be upset about Karina having a Mega Evolved Lucario because Mega Evolution's not in the games, which I think they should be. But, I'm just saying. But the thing is, that's the anime. That doesn't bother me. I get entertained when I watch the anime. I don't sit over here to complain about the anime. It's ridiculous. So more people continue to say, well, at least they said sorry, joking around. Another one said, I have to assume anyone upset about this has never seen the main anime where stuff happens inconsistent in the games damn near every single episode. That's true. But that's the thing. I just feel like being upset because a Pokemon was shown within an episode that's not in the games, I just think that's kind of ridiculous to be upset over it. Like I said, I can understand being upset about the games. I'm pretty upset that they're still not in the games either, but it happens, we're getting more in the DLC, but, they should have had them all from the beginning. Let's look at it. First episode, there was Ho-Oh. Nobody knew what that Pokemon was because Ho-Oh had not even been revealed publicly yet, other than that. Then, of course, later on in the original Kanto series, there was Togepi. Misty had Togepi. So everybody remembers that. And then, of course, there was the Pokemon Pikachu's Vacation short that was right before the first movie, which had both Meryl and Snubbull, two Johto Pokemon just like Ho-Oh and Togepi. And then, of course, in the movie, the first Pokemon that was shown off that was brand new was Donphan. Nobody knew what Donphan was. They just saw Ash battle a Donphan and beat it. Like this meme right here. When you first saw the Pokemon movie, who else thought, what the hell is a Donphan? Because nobody knew what it was. But it was a cool Pokemon nonetheless. Within the second movie, within Pikachu's short in the second movie, Elekid was shown off. That was another Pokemon that was not in the games at the time. Or, also within the very same short, was Bellossom. We can't also forget about that Pokemon also being there as well, and nobody knew what that was, and that turned out to be Gloom's secondary evolution besides Vileplume. And then, of course, the big one, which was Lugia in the movie, which that was what the movie was about, was Lugia, which, a fan favorite of many, myself included. Slowking was also another Pokemon that was shown off in that movie that was also a Johto Pokemon. So, you had a pretty good amount of Gen 2 Pokemon. In the Gen 2 anime, you had Kecleon, which was a Gen 3 Pokemon that was actually revealed. So, there's another one, which was revealed not once, but twice. And then there was Blaziken, or as I call it, Blaziken. But, Blaziken was also another Pokemon that Ash actually lost to, which was about the Gen 3 anime, which then, of course, led on to May getting a Munchlax later on in the anime, which was Generation 4. Another Pokemon you couldn't get within the games, prior to the generation. Same with Lucario in the Mystery of Mew. We cannot forget the Lucario, which is a huge fan favorite. Lucario was another Pokemon you couldn't get in the games yet. Also goes the same with Weavile. Weavile was in the very same movie with Lucario, and that is the evolved form of Sneasel. Still couldn't get that in the previous games either until Generation 4. And then, of course, Bonsley, which is Sudowoodo's pre-evolved stage. Bonsley was also another Pokemon that came out in the Lucario and the Mystery Mew movie and wasn't in the games yet. Mime Jr., yet again, during the Gen 3 anime, James had a Mime Jr. You could not get that either yet. That's Mr. Mime's pre-evolved stage. And then, of course, when it came to the Generation 4 anime, there was a movie that was about Zoroark and Zorua. And they were both revealed, and they were Gen 5 Pokemon. And then, of course, yet again, let's go into Gen 5. There was Helioptile and Go-Goat, which they were Alexa's Pokemon, which they were not in the games yet. And then, of course, there was Noivern, which was one of the cooler reveals, in my opinion. And Noivern was also not in the Gen 5 games. They have done this multiple times. But who am I? I guess I'm just a scrub. But, I'm just saying. When people continue to go on to say, are people really this petty? This is outside of the game canon. Just because they were cut from the games doesn't mean they can never be used again. Which, they've even stated that they're going to bring Pokemon back. So, it's not like they're gone forever. If they only pulled a black and white with this game, literally no one would be mad about the cut or as much, only about the graphics and story, and that's about it. Which, it shows Dragonite. But that's the thing. When it came to black and white, you couldn't even get the old Pokemon until after you beat the game, and then you could transfer them over. There was actually nothing but new Pokemon. That was what is known as the soft reboot of Pokemon in the franchise. But a lot of people, were pretty upset about Generation 2 and 3 because, when you went from 2 to 3, you couldn't transfer your 2 Pokemon over to Generation 3. So everything from Gen 1 and Gen 2 were stuck behind, and then you had to go to Gen 3. That's why the remakes were there. It's crazy stuff. So one person goes, hold on, wait a minute. People were upset by something like this? I mean, they were. It's crazy. And one person goes, it's false advertising. No, it's not. It's not false advertising. I mean, it was nothing but a special for the anime that they're making, which is actually pretty good for a 6-minute anime. It's actually really fun. I love it. It's actually pretty enjoyable. More people continue to say, I guess the first episode of Pokemon anime means nothing now. And one person responds saying, it's not the same! Oh, man. It's hilarious. Another person responded with, honestly, this is a good thing. Getting the Pokemon Company to apologize for anything is never a bad thing. They're the ones making Pokemon a yearly series, despite it being a bad thing in the long run. I mean, Pokemon has had, Pokemon in the actual anime that weren't in the games as of yet. Obviously, that was used as a marketing ploy. That was the whole point as to why they did that. Now, Dugong just being in the anime for a brief 2 seconds. I mean, and then people getting butthurt over it. I think that's a little ridiculous. I mean, it was just a Pokemon that was put in there. I mean, who knows? They probably weren't even thinking about what was on the Pokedex in the actual games, and they were just putting in Pokemon for the scene. And they were drawing them out, and they just thought, hey, let's go ahead and put them in there. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. I think people are just overreacting to this. And I just thought it was a bit silly, and I thought that everybody might find that to be a little comical as well. But anyways, let me know what you think about this entire situation down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and make sure you are still subscribed because YouTube is unsubscribing people from all their favorite channels. So make sure you are still subscribed to all your favorite channels. Hit the video with a like if you enjoyed, and also be sure to share the video on social media. Spread the word and get it out there. It's greatly appreciated, and it really helps out the channel a lot. Also, be sure to follow me on Discord. We have a wonderful community there. Not only that, but it will keep you up to date on when the news videos will be released, as well as any other upcoming events in the near future. So be sure to follow me on Discord. The link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you. And have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.